Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to give you a little walk through my progress in Procreate and my progress in digital art. So I started digital art in 2017, and this is a little draw this in your style challenge that I have up from Sissy on YouTube, and I'm still in the progress of completing it. So let me actually just expand this side card from Procreate. So I started digital art 2017. So I actually have some screenshots here from one of my very first paintings or digital drawings. Let's see if I can pull it up. So I started digital drawing in 2017, and you can see here that I took a screenshot from my Instagram, and it's from July 30th, 2017. This was, I think, my first iPad was an iPad mini. I can't even remember. Anyways, I got in 2017, and currently my wife has both of those. So anyways, back to my first drawing was of my wife. She was on her computer and I had no idea what I was doing. I think I took a picture of her and I traced it, and I tried to use the different brushes, and it was almost as if I was learning how to write again. I used, I think, just the Procreate original brushes, and tried out the pencil brush. It looks like a charcoal brush almost. And I just did like a quick wash of her in this picture that I took of her. I don't even know where the original picture is, but I realized that it was a lot more challenging than I expected. So I continued tracing, and I took a picture of my first dog, a Braxton, and I just traced him and try to get some jitter lines. I have no evidence of my very beginnings of my Procreate because unfortunately I didn't know how to transfer things from my old iPad to my new iPad, and things got lost and I was very sad. So these were my very first two drawings that I found, and I think I tried things again, this time in color, and I did a draw this in your style from this artist that I love her work. So then I moved into learning more about Procreate, and then of course I landed on Lisa Bardot, and she had these like coloring sheets. So it was helpful for me to understand the color portion of Procreate because it was a digital, well, it is a digital format, and I was able to create like shadow and shade within the coloring sheet and understand how to make that show. I was also figuring out layers and finding my style within Procreate. So that is where that evolved. And so leading into my current iPad, so I have the iPad M2 chip 2022, the latest iPad. I just gave my 2018 iPad to my wife, and she loves it. This one is a little faster. I do notice a difference. However, if you're not like worried about the speed or anything that is high tech, I do use this as a computer at times, like for work and things. So I needed a faster iPad. I chose this instead of getting a laptop, because I do have a desktop already. So some background on tech stuff. So going into my current work, so as you guys already saw in the beginning of the video, I'm doing a draw this in your style. I'm not too good at creating my own characters, so I wanted to practice creating characters. I'm more of a landscape artist, you know, object artist. I don't even know what it would be called, but I like to draw inanimate objects. So when it comes to like animals and realistic things, so this is actually a watercolor painting that I scanned and placed in here, and I was going to adjust for an alphabet project that I'm working on. So some of my projects are primarily landscapes, buildings, flowers, things that don't have recognizable faces. And I do that intentionally because I think I find it challenging to do things with faces. And I think it's just not my style. So I do mostly figures that don't have faces, and the reason for that is because two reasons actually. One, I don't want people to focus on the face and how bad it is. And two, I want people to be able to look at my figures and relate to them and place their face in there. So I did a whole series of figures with no faces for years. I mean, that was a huge body of work of mine, and you can check that out on my website. Most of those paintings live in other people's houses, and I'm super proud of them. I love my girls. And so I tried my girls in digital painting. So it worked. So these are more recent. So let's take it back to some of my earlier paintings in here, which they probably live in random. Let's see. So some of my beginning paintings are when I was testing out landscapes. So these are some earlier ones. I did this one is an earlier one. Oops. So in 2021. So to be clear, after I got my iPad in 2017, I did some art until 2018, graduated from grad school, and then went back to traditional. So I kind of like abandoned my iPad for a while, and I just got back into it, I'm gonna say like 2020. I also tried to create my own coloring sheet. So this is one that is an early one. I think this is 2021. And I did try a character, Draw This in Your Style by Lisa Bardot, and I'll place that here because I did not take a screenshot of that. So anyways, so I worked through coloring sheets. I tried my own coloring sheet. I practiced, I think this was one of my first coloring sheets. It's very childlike and very beginner. It was a lot of fun, but I realized that that wasn't my style. I saved some of these coloring sheets for my wife because she wanted to use these, and these are Lisa Bardot's. And I colored some in myself. So I have her magic papers, I have her brushes. I love her brushes. So moving forward, so after 2018, 2019, I didn't do any digital. 2020, I think I just got back into art again. And I did some traditional. So let's see if I can pull up my Instagram. So I pulled up my Instagram, and so I want to say I got back into art. I can remember exactly the first artwork that I did. And if you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me over on Instagram, K Montes Art. I post a reel once a week. And I try to make it fun. So, here's my first digital art piece, and here is the original from my Draw This in Your Style challenge, and I loved her stuff. So then I got back into art around, I think, so I did some stuff in school, so around here. Oh yes, I did have a show in 2018, and then I stopped. I did a couple random things in 2019. This was one of the first ones I did during the pandemic, and I was very rusty. Actually, this one just sold last month. Ooh, I cried. I'm so dramatic. I cried because, this is the one that got me back into art. I was really rusty, you can see, but somebody loved it. And then I dove into what I love the most is food painting. And you can see me here with my work computer. Work was really slow at the time, and I just wanted to look at different desserts. I love drawing food, and I did that during my lunch break at work. Then I did some more doors, and I realized that I love drawing doors. I've always loved doors, so these are really bad photos, but got back into doors, and then I did a figure in Procreate, and it was so much fun. So this is one of those videos that Procreate makes for you, and I had so much fun. I was able to adjust the length of her leg and figure out proportion. It was still challenging at the moment, finding the right tool that I liked, the right brush, and figuring that out. Then I did this one, and I was like, oh, this is fun. I realized that I needed the skeleton to be able to find the proper proportion and treat it as if it was a piece of paper that I was drawing on. And I had so much fun with that. And this is a model that I found on just Googling. I just Googled plus size model. So after doing that, I knew that I was still good at more realistic figures. So I wanted to try illustration. And I just hated it. It's cute. It looks like the one that Lisa demonstrated, but it just wasn't giving me enough. Like, I'm such a representational type of person that I think things were throwing me off, and I wasn't used to creating an illustration. However, looking back at it as my first illustration, I think it's okay. I think it's pretty good. But that wasn't what I was interested in. So then all of these after that were digital. So I like cranked out a bunch of digital things. So I tried an illustration, food illustration I loved. And I was still tracing images at this point. Some of them aren't traced, some of them are just like drawn out. This one is just from looking at a floor. I think I traced this one also, and I used my own color. I tried the magic paper with Lisa Bardot. This one's 2021. Excuse me. And then I did more bodies and some more landscapes. Then I tried to do a book illustration, so we can jump back into Procreate. It might be in books. Yeah. So I tried to do an illustration. I liked it, but again, I think I struggled with the cartoon effect that the illustration was giving, and I just wasn't digging it. And I tried a couple other sketches that are still in sketch form. These have been in here for years. I tried to figure out how to do faces, wasn't loving it. I even tried to come up with a story. So I wrote this story, I Hate My Room, and it's about a little boy that hates his room and is unappreciative of the things that he has. And his sister has a fun room that he thinks is better than hers, and he knows that his friend has a really fun room and a secret cave within his bookshelf, and he thinks that he has such a bland, boring room, but he doesn't realize that he has more than other people would ever have. So he asked his mom for a new room, and he was very upset that he couldn't get a new room. So I started this beautiful story, and like talks about like appreciating your room and what you have, and I wanted it to relate back to like the things I do with my nonprofit and design, but I never finished it. Excuse me. I never finished it because I couldn't get past the cartoon aspect of the book. And I think if I were to revisit this book, I do know that I like realistic style. So I think I would recreate that illustration to be different. So fast forward to, so that was 2021. So 2022, I tried some of Lisa Bardot's Draw This, Make Art Everyday challenge, and I did do some of her things, and I don't know if I have any of them. Yeah, I don't think I have any of those. I do have a couple of patterns that I did try. I'm not trying to show some of those. Some of them show body parts and I don't want that to be seen. And yeah, so I just like continued trying animation. This is from 2021, didn't love it. Then I went back into creating food illustrations, wasn't digging the magic paper at that moment. So I said, scratched it, and I said, I'm just gonna keep practicing and just like let it be. I even created my signature in here for my business. I tried to do the alphabet this way, hated it. I worked on this little animation character. I absolutely hated that one. There was just so many like ups and downs, and then I kept on practicing and sketching, and I even did the Inktober challenge and didn't complete it. Just kept on pushing through. Then I would say this year was, so 2022 to till the ending of 2022 through 2023, I picked back up in my iPad, and I created some of these works, and I turned these into cards, which live in my shop if you want to check that out. So these are some thank you cards that I actually have right here, and I love how they turned out. So the color is on point, exactly to the color that I chose. Yeah, the printing process with this company, my local print shop, did an excellent job at capturing the exact color. So those are my cards, and they live in my shop. If you want to purchase them as thank you cards or greeting cards for any occasion. So that was this group of prints that I'm about to show you are my first set of digital prints. So I've done prints before, but they have been from my real art. I don't know what it would be called, my tangible art, I guess. So this print is one of my first. I love doing interior and just architectural drawings, and this is the print, and it lives in my shop. This can also be considered like a postcard. You can write on the back and send it out, or you can just consider it to be a print. So that was my second print. So these are my first stickers, and this was my sticker sheet. This is dedicated to my honey. This one's called Love Chocolate, because I love chocolates and sweets, and I was also thinking about love and honey. My wife, I call her Honey, so it was the little honey pot, and how much we love each other. It's perfect for Valentine's or any time of the year, because I think Valentine's Day is National Chocolate Day to me, but this is my first sticker sheet, and that also lives in my shop. And this is my first full-on water bottle sticker. So I do mention these in one of my previous videos, that the color did come out incorrect, but I did reach out to Jukebox. They were excellent at customer service and being kind with me and understanding that, you know, I had the wrong file, which I think I mentioned in the last video. Sometimes Procreate allows you to create a file that's screen size here, Let's see if you can see it. So screen size shows as a P3. That cannot be changed to CMYK. It's really hard to transfer them, so I ended up having to change this file, transfer every single layer into my CMYK file screen size, which I created myself, and reordering the layers exactly to how the original one was. So you can see I have 2 copies. Like even down to like it was a very tedious task. I had to readjust every layer and every effect that I placed on that layer to be able to send them the proper file so that they can reprint things, and they were so kind to do it for free. So yeah, be careful with your files and how you print them. You can even see here, just if you look close enough, I can probably move this next to this one, but they're slightly different colors. I did want this color, but there's nothing I can do about that because I mean, these colors are RGB and these are CMYK, I can never say that right, CMYK. Sometimes people say CMKY, CMYK, whatever. So these two are slightly different in shades, but I did want this to look like that, but I know it's not. It's gonna look a little bit darker, but it's fine with me. So those live in my shop. So please check out my shop, and if you happen to order everything, it will probably be less than, I think, $20 something. I can't remember. So along with that, I was able to create my little notepad. So these came out very proper, to true to tone and color that I originally wanted. So I created this file, duplicated that original, where does that live? So I used the original file, and I don't think I have this file anymore. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so I used the original file and I duplicated it and created my notepads. Very true to color. The people at Jukebox mentioned that the P3 file, because this one is a P3 file, and there were no printing issues, tend to come out differently on paper than they do on vinyl stickers. So when printing, I suggest just doing the universal CMYK in order to get the right color that you're looking for. So even though the P3 file works fine with paper, I would still suggest keeping the CMYK file. All right, so that's my little tour of my progress in Procreate and my digital art stuff. And I have some current things that are in the works, ready to be printed. Some fun stuff. As I mentioned, some of my girls, these are my older girls that I retouched up and added a couple things to. So I wanted to test those out as like square stickers and probably create them into prints. But I'll see how this first round of prints and products do before I make these into prints. check out my shop. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and stay tuned for more.